All right, welcome back to the Ultimates, issue 16. Last issue, we met what seems to be the reincarnation of Shang-Chi, which is our current day Shang-Chi, and Danny Rand, and it seems like they're going on a mission because their main goal is going to be to stop the Hulk, who's also the Iron Fist. But for now, we kind of do an interlude and see how the Ultimates affects the regular day and how the normal day of society looks like before and after the Ultimates came in here. As we meet with a teenage girl talking to her parents who are very mad that they did not go to school. Why aren't you showing up? Explain this, Ren. And she's in an alt outfit and she's like, there are more things important than school. Like what? What could be more important than school? And she is the main one that we focus with because she says, fuck school. The only teacher who ever taught me anything was Miss Walters. Yeah, this is who She-Hulk was supposed to be. This is She-Hulk Jennifer Walters from regular 616. And it lines up because she taught 6th grade civics and had a thing for free thought. Our textbooks were full of the usual stuff, a gleaming new system rising from the ruins of obviously unworkable democracy. A perfect, intricate machine screwable only to super geniuses, which took the awful burden of governance off the people. But Miss Walters didn't follow the book. She taught us about elections, the Magna Carta, and universal rights of man. Basically everything before the Maker became in charge of everything. She was young and she cared, and everybody loved her. We cried our eyes out the day no-faced men dragged her kicking and screaming from the classroom. She did the one thing that you're not supposed to do. She basically spoke out against the government, against the Maker, talking about what was supposed to happen. Talking about free stuff that people shouldn't really think about. Going against the new norm. And my parents told me what happened. My dad said, don't breathe a word of this, not to anyone. And I didn't. I was afraid they'd come for me too. So I didn't breathe a word about her. So basically, if you were taken by the no-face men, you were thrown in prison and yeah, they didn't talk about you anymore because somebody will come after you again. Just like we saw in an earlier issue in the 1 year in where a man was talking about the Ultimates and got struck by lightning and died. But my friend Mia saw it herself as well. So I had someone to not talk about it with. Mia was my best friend since forever. We shared everything. Toys, clothes, nightmares. As babies, we even took baths together. But when we were 14, I got boobs, and Mia grew gills under her armpits. She was scared and confused, and I didn't even know what to say. So I didn't breathe a word. She was scared that if she said something, her friend would be gone. But someone must have, because one morning when I went to her house on the way to school, her parents told me she died in her sleep. Randomly. She died of a disease. Genetic. I knew they were lying, but I didn't breathe a word. So she was taken away and given the thing of, yeah, she's dead. She croak-boated. She went against the norm. She was a mutate maybe. And yeah, you're done. And of course, you're not allowed to talk about it. That's how the society is under the Maker. She was my best friend and I didn't breathe a word. I held my breath waiting for them to come. The men in black and white. I held my breath for a long time until one day I saw something that finally forced the air from my lungs. The Ultimates showed up. The Ultimates started in action. They showed up going against the norm and showing that they can actually go against the government. And so we cut to now as ding dong, somebody's at the door. She believes that it's the no-face men as she tells her dad, don't open the door because I saw the news after that broadcast. And so we cut to the past real quick. I read everything about the Ultimates I could find. Official media made them look like cartoony villains, but first-hand accounts painted a different picture. I wanted to make up my own mind. And so she began to ask questions, which is very, very dangerous for someone like her. She talks to the mailman. They took responsibility for the power outages, so why would they deny the Stark Tower incident? Which is true, because that doesn't line up. Why did they do something bad and then own it? And then another thing bad, they don't own. They said that, nah, that wasn't us, but we do own the other stuff. We do own our responsibility. She talked to the neighbors, told them of the Savage Land. Roxxon poison to paradise, blah, 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 blah. There's more evil to come. She talks to the homeless people. The government could end the homelessness overnight if they wanted to, so why don't they? And my parents didn't like it because they were scared that something would happen. What do you think you do? You're going to get yourself in trouble. And so she says, I didn't breathe a word after that. Just around my parents. Because I couldn't reach the Ultimates, but I found out there have been people like me, demanding democracy in the North American Union for as long as there had been a North American Union, which was news to me. So much for school. So she starts skipping school and going to these meetings for the North America Union. As she walks up and they're like, hey, what's the password? That's of the people, for the people, by the people, blah, blah, blah. The groups were small, isolated, and invite only. They could throw you into one of those Midas prisons indefinitely just on suspicion of membership. So I went to the first meeting. I waited for the blurred faces to come drag us away. And they never came. I kept waiting, but I kept coming back. So these confidential meetings house people that are like, hey, fuck the government, fuck these people. We're siding with the Ultimates. We want our old North America back. We want the US of A, baby. And of course, the no face is not going to like that, and they would take all these people, but for some reason they don't know about it, and that's because they're too busy dealing with the Ultimates conflict right now. But it didn't take long to realize that having these meetings, pretty much all these people had done this for the last 60 years. This is really confidential. Nobody's looking at this. The Ultimates had lit a fire. I saw more and more faces, younger, angrier, hungry for action. There are people like me, even old timers. They've all been inspired by the Ultimates. And then one day they were visited by America Chavez. And we became the Ultimates. This was before the Ultnet, before the handbook, before the infrastructure had really been put in place. I think Iron Lad would have been dead at the time, but he isn't anymore. I don't know. We were still mostly on our own, but we had purpose. And so we see them spray painting, starting small, going into malls and shopping centers, playing the old US of A national anthem. So yeah, like I said before, this story is mostly to see how people became joined with the Ultimates, how their progress is actually going, what people are actively doing to help spread the activism, essentially. A few months ago, it was like everything sped up. Iron Lad came in, is like, hey, everybody join the Ultimates app. The Ultnet gives access to information, resources, and each other. We could coordinate with anyone in the movement all over the world, including superpowered members. Once, I was part of the group that set up the diversion while Hawkeye assassinated a high-level ranking Roxxon executive passing through town. Another time, I'm pretty sure I hid Captain America in my basement for a few hours till the heat died down, although he denied it. And yeah, that's Captain America. He's like, oh, my name's Brett Hendrick. I fix washing machines. Yeah, sure, whatever. Come on, dude. Yeah, she knows it's Captain America. That's pretty funny, honestly. And we held our own initiatives. There's a big bomb at the government building. We planned it for over a month. It was mostly symbolic, no fatalities. We gave them a 30-minute warning to evacuate. Made the news for weeks. My parents didn't know exactly what was going on, but they could see the changes. And yeah, as parents do, they're getting worried. They're like, yeah, you gotta stop whatever it is you're doing. Well, what am I stopping? I couldn't stop. Not after I'd come so far. And so they asked her, where were you last night? Well, don't worry about it. But we're your parents, we have to know. You were out with them again, the criminal gang. And so she's like, I wouldn't describe it as a criminal gang, which it is technically a criminal organization because they're against the government. They're doing illegal things. For the first time in my life, I was doing something important. And her mom presses her, don't you see, we're trying to protect you? Which she's not wrong. You're young, you don't understand what could happen. You could end up like Mia or Miss Walters. And the parents kind of don't really say anything. Nobody said their names in years. And that's what activated the no faces to come. Because for the first time since Miss Walters, I had stopped waiting for the men in blurry faces to come. As they bang on the door and bust through, that was my big mistake. And they're like, yeah, you're found guilty for going with the terrorist organization as the Ultimates. And then they just murder her dad. Right in front of her, too. That's nuts. And so her mom's like, you need to run. And she gets shot and killed. And so Ren's like, yeah, I should have been afraid. And so the no faces give chase to Ren as she runs out the back door. And they want to do this the old school way instead of just blasting her. And so while Ren's running, she goes on to the Ultnet and is like, SOS, I need people. They came to my house. And we see multiple people dead. They did their rounds. They know about a ton of these people. And so before they even get Ren, somebody next to him is like, whoa, are you all right? And it's their neighbors. And so the no faces go to take the neighbors out. And before they do, this woman just shoots him right in the face and is like, yeah, we saw the message. We were part of the Ultimates too. Follow this route on your phone and go. And she hands Ren the gun and tells the men she went that way, pointing in the wrong direction. As Ren runs down the street, and then the no face catches up to him and is like, oh, those guys were lying. I'll get him after I get you. As Ren starts blasting, and then the No-Face cuts off her arm, which is nuts, bro. The Evidence Factory will be working overtime to attribute all these deaths to you and your terror cell, I gotta admit. But I can't imagine how a little girl like you killed one of us. But we'll find out. You are under arrest. You have the right to months of physical and psychological torture. And before they can get him off, somebody grabs the gun from behind him. And he shoots the No-Face in the back, killing him. It's the homeless man. He's like, hey, get to the rendezvous point. You gotta escape. I know the streets. I know how to disappear. And then she runs away as the No-Face stands back up. And this is a tough 16-year-old. I mean, getting your arm cut off, bro, I'm done. I'm giving up. I'm calling it quits. And so who else shows up besides the mailman that she was talking to in the beginning of the issue? Hides her into the mail truck. And the No-Face is like, stop. Have you seen a young girl going this way? She should be wounded. Oh, well, I think I would have noticed, but no. And so he drives off with her. And it seems like everybody is safe. Well, where are we? We're going to get that hand fixed up. We're going to get you far away from here. We've got a safe house ready. They got you a new identity, but Hand has your name, your face. You'll have to go underground. There's more to the movement than you can imagine. It's much bigger than you think. Don't worry, Ren. You're safe. We're going to fix the world. 2 months remain. So that is basically the day in the life of somebody in the Ultimates Network. What they are afraid of. What comes after them. And how their daily lives look like in fear. So thank you for listening, watching, enjoying. Peace out.